Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
I love this quote, and the reason that I love saying that time is on your side, and when you agree that it is on your side, it is because you own that time. You know, we are not promised anything. We're not promised tomorrow, but we are here we are with today. What are we going to do with it? And when we approach every single day with the time that's in it, instead of wasting time or just say, I'm killing time. When somebody says I'm killing time, you're killing me, man. That upsets me, because it's showing a grand unappreciation for the beautiful gift of time that you've been given. We have to stay on top of the fact that time is on our side when we decide to own it. That's we have to take a decision about that. There is a decision to be made about our time. So we start there. And what are we going to do? I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things. And then probably through the week, like tomorrow, I'm going to be talking big time about procrastination, what it is, how to unplug from it, because it is a toughie. And you know what Jane just said, time is a sticky one for me. It's not just you, Jane. It's a lot of us. You know, we think we've got a lot of time, and then all of a sudden we realize we don't. And if you've ever had a relative or somebody that you love be given a pretty acute diagnosis, then you recognize and you realize that time isn't necessarily going to be there forever. My father, and it's coming up, my father's birthday was on May 15th, and he would have been 92 this year. He died when he was 59, and he was on his deathbed when he turned 59. And I was told that he had incurable cancer. He had a vascular cancer on May 9th, and on May 29th, he had passed away. So when you see time like that, then you recognize, wow, we've got time right now. We have time right now to take control of our time and to really appreciate it and have real extraordinary gratitude for time. That's important. That's important. And I'm going to tell you something right now. When I watching my father die, everything changed for me. At the time, I had my own business. I had a catering business, and I was young, and one of the up and coming caterers, and we my partner and I were doing big time stuff. I mean, we were billing 5 figures every month. We had a big corporate client. We were doing all kinds of stuff and burning the candle on both ends. And you know what I decided? Because time really distilled for me right then and there. Life's too short to spend your time getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and staying until 10 o'clock at night burning out. And there's got to be a better way. Now, of course, oh man, in 3 weeks from aggressive cancer, same with you, Sarah. You know what I'm talking about then. Time kind of stands still for that time, and then it goes really fast. And then you go back and you reflect and you think, wow, that's just different. That was 1985 when I lost my dad. So time, though, can be on our side when we start to appreciate and have gratitude for time. And I want you to write that down. Do you appreciate your time? Do you have extraordinary gratitude for all this time, this today that you've been given? When we can start there, to me, that's the starting place. When we start there, then we are going to see our way to really expand time. Now, you've heard the expression bend time, I'm sure you have, and it's wormholes and travel stuff and all of that. But in my mind, bending time is having extreme appreciation and is using time wisely. That's spending time because, like I said, and I mean this with all of my heart, about this journal. This journal is going to help us to have great appreciation for time and do extraordinary things in a short amount of time. That is how we should be approaching our time. I've got this amount of time. What can I do in it? So we got to start right now. Number one, what is the number one thing that we need to do? Number one thing is that we have to start with focus. We have to start with focus. And if we don't know where our time is going, we don't know where our life is going. You can write that down too. If you don't know where your time is going, you don't know where your life is going. If it's spent just endlessly on games and garbage and social media inhales, then what's going on? Is that all your life is worth? That's a declaration that you're saying to your brain, this is all I'm worth. This is all I have. Oh, I'm just chillaxing here. Well, how many hours are you chillaxing? We start with understanding where our time has gone. So I want you to take a look at this. Go to savingdinner.com/time. That's where you can find a free time block sheet. You know why I like this? Because you can take this time block sheet, print it off, and you don't go into the nitty gritty. Well, at 12:22, I was flossing my teeth. At 12:23, I took the dog out to go to the bathroom. At 12:24, no. But we need to look, speaking of dogs, but we need to look at things, don't we? We've got to look at what we're doing. We've got to look, Lincoln, I'm not going to do this. I don't know. Mark is supposed to be watching the dog. Come get the puppy. Come get him. I'm telling Mark to come get him. Come get the dog. Come get the dog. There. Good grief. Men do things differently. Have you noticed that? They do things differently. This is why you come home and your children are, destroyed. They're dirty and all of that. Lincoln's barking at the door. He wants to sit on my lap, and that's just not happening. Anyway, back to the whole thing. Your time block sheet is going to be telling of where your time is, as long as you're honest. And again, you don't have to go bonkers on this and make, like these minute by minute things. It's asking for you to look at the chunks of your time, because we do have a tendency to waste a lot of time on chunks of things that don't have any impact whatsoever on our 12-week goals, And what if we could take and instead go, whoa, not doing that. Instead, I'm going to take that time that I have been wasting on that Candy Crush and put it on my fitness goal, put it on my getting ready and getting organized goal, whatever it is. Think about it in those terms. This is not to damn you or to do one of these to you. It's to say you need to keep an account. We are going to have to give an account of our time. We are going to have to give an account of our words. These are the things that we need to do in order to become the higher humans that we're called to be, so that you can be the woman you want to be, so that you can do the things that you want to do, so you can have the freedom to love your life. You can't love your life if you're being held prisoner by time. Number 2, create a list of stuff for the day, and do it in descending order. Like what needs to get done. I do this for my work stuff all the time. And they have to, a lot of times I'm like, oh, I missed that or I missed this. But, I've always got a list of things that are going. I've got like 6 things on my list that need my attention. I do this at home, and I give Mark a honey-do list. I love me a nice little list. Lists are everything, and they're helpful. And while you can download the world onto your list and get overwhelmed from it, my strong suggestion is just kind of start chunking away. It's a little, a thing here and a thing there. You don't have to organize your entire house, but you can organize your dresser. You don't have to, I don't know, you know what I'm saying. This is just things that we need to do, is just look at it, one little tiny project at a time, and make sure that you've got a list of all the things that need to get done for your personal and for your, business and career and your work. Number 3, the big rocks go first. This also could be frog eating, like Lucy is saying. Yes, exactly. But it also can be that your priorities have to go into the jar first. And I love the analogy of the jar. You've got this big mason jar, and the rocks represent your time and your priorities, and everything else. Actually, the jar really represents your time. And the things that you have to do are in different sizes. If you put the large rocks in first, as opposed to putting in the sand, you're going to have the ability to fit a lot more things. So we start with the large rocks, then we go to the pebbles, and then we go to the sand. That's how it works. And then that way look at how much we can get done simply because we've organized by doing the big stuff first. Our priorities are our priorities are our priorities. And that would include being connected in a relationship and spending quality time with that someone, with your spouse or with your children or whomever. Doing that and just being intentional about it is speaking to those big rocks, isn't it? Number 4, you need to always have a plan B, because there will be interruptions. We love to set these schedules, don't they? And they're just beautiful. And you're looking at it and you're going, and I'm doing my workout here, and I've got this there, my pantry's stocked, my refrigerator has all my Sprint food, everything's ready to go. And then what happens? Your child wakes up. And instead of you being able to do your workout, you've got to deal with a wet bed. You've got to deal with a dog that threw up on the carpet. You've got whatever. So what I say to all of that is understand that the best laid plans are always going to have some kind of a hiccup or a disruption. Plan for it as if it's not going to happen. But when it does, be gracious about it, because when you're gracious about it, the situation, you're also being gracious to yourself and the interrupter. You don't want to be horrible to your child who woke up from a nightmare with a wet bed, do you? You want to give him that memory because he ruined your plans? That's my whole thing. Plan bloom. I love it so much. Sarah, that's so good. But we need that. We all need that. It gives everybody grace. It gives you grace. It gives your child grace. It gives the dog grace. I was getting really upset with Lincoln yesterday. I mean, he was just absolute. And Mark was working on the bathroom, so I was all over. It was all about me and the dog. And I was trying to do a couple of things. And I was also trying to really relax, because Sundays are my day that I stay in my pajamas most of the day too, if I can help it. Just letting you know. And it's just my whole day to do this. And it was every 2 minutes, he wanted to get up, he'd go out, ring the bell, and want to go outside. And he'd just walking around and everything. And then I was just finally, I'm just done with you, dog. And, we have a rope for him to sit out there, because sometimes he wants to sit out and just lay in the sun. So I said, go ahead, sit out and lay in the sun. And I wasn't kind about it. I wasn't beating the dog or whatever, but I wasn't kind, and it felt bad. And then later on, he kind of was a little timid, because I was like, you do you, Lincoln. That's what I was saying. You just do you. I've got it, get out of my hair kind of a thing. And it didn't make him feel good. He kind of peed himself a little bit. And that was because of me. So my whole thing is, there's going to be interruptions. We got to plan for it, have something in place for it. But, of course, minimize it by planning accordingly and good timing. So, for example, if your child usually takes a nap at 2:00 in the afternoon, that'd be a good time for you to do something that you can't do with your child. You see where I'm going with all of that. Number 5, I guess, multitasking is a time waster. Did you hear me say that? Yes, I did. Multitasking is ridiculous, because nobody is good at multitasking. Now, we can abstract think, we can conceptualize. There's a lot of different things that we can do, but can we multitask? Absolutely not. We cannot do that. We can piggyback, however. piggybacking is everything. Piggybacking is, and if you haven't heard me talk about this before, Lily said she's got a 6-month-old and a 3-year-old golden doodle. Oh, yes. I know. Everybody's always on your tail or knocking at the door or whining, right? Yikes. It's a whole different thing. But, the whole thing with multitasking is, you can turn on your washing machine, your dryer, your dishwasher, and even your Instant Pot. You can do all of those at the same time. That's multitasking. That's smart multitasking because there's machines doing it all. But for you to say, I'm going to run a bathtub, run the vacuum cleaner, make a phone call and all of that, something's going to happen. You're going to burn something on the stove. You're going to whatever. It's a dumb idea. And if you've ever had a bathtub overflow or a sink or whatever, you know. Lucy, you're not the only one. None of us are up about that. Sarah, she can't help herself. I need a snare drum. Ba-dum-bum. She'll be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so the whole thing is we don't multitask, but we piggyback. And when we have a well-established habit that we're trying to now incorporate a brand new habit, that's the piggyback. So, for example, you can piggyback. One of the things that I've done has been after I empty the dishwasher, my coffee's going, I will do a 4-minute workout because a 4-minute workout is a new habit, right? It's an old habit now, but when I started this, I was not allowed to have coffee until the 4-minute workout was done first thing in the morning. And then I do another one right now after the show or right before the show, either way, but it's on a reminder. And then I do another one in the evening. And just when you anchor it to something else, you piggyback it on something else, it's easy to get done because you remember, oh yes, so coffee. Want the coffee? You want the coffee? You know how it is. There you go. That's how the whole thing works. So procrastination, I'm going to do a whole show on that tomorrow because procrastination is, and if you've read the Webster Dictionary says it's decisions that have been put off is what it is. Putting off decisions. And when we procrastinate, I want to say this, we're not making a decision about something, we're still making a decision. We're making a decision not to do anything about it. And then the natural consequences flow. Procrastination, there are many ways that we can get beyond procrastination. There's a lot of ways that we can start saying no more procrastination. And tomorrow we're going to do a deep dive on it. So you're going to want to be, if you value your time, you're going to want to be here for procrastination. Oh, and by the way, as soon as we can figure out Instagram, we will be on live on Instagram as well going forward. So it'll be Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all at the same time every single day. So just letting you know, if you're an Instagram user and you prefer that platform, be watching for us tomorrow. Patsy did her 4-minute workout while waiting for her coffee. See, it works. That's a piggyback right there. And it's real effectual. Number 6, review your day for the wins and then correct as need be. We call them path corrections. And the only reason we have a path correction is not to beat ourselves up, but to see, is there a better and wiser use of our time so that we can be hitting our goals? Because the whole idea behind the journal is to weave our goals and the little steps that we take to get to that place of completion of the goal into our daily lives. Isn't that pretty cool? So I love that. And it's massively important, but it's also massively important to say, you know what? I won the day because I started this piggyback habit and I completed it. I won the day because I did X, Y, and Z. I won the day because I got I moved my workout to the front of the day and it actually happened. Those are the kind of things we need to remind ourselves of how wonderful we are, because we are. We have wonderful coursing through our veins. We just need to, start showing up for it. Number, I don't know, 7, is that it? I think so. Use your rituals so that your days and your nights are bookended by these fabulous rituals. When we do that, The middles sort of take care of themselves a little bit, but the day flows so much better. And one of the things that, and we are going to talk about as well, is this state of flow. And flow is a state that happens when things are just, you're firing on all cylinders. It's also a time thing. So I want to be talking about that probably on Thursday. Just, stay tuned for the week. You'll get all the stuff. But the rituals are your bookends for the day. And boy, do they make a difference. They set you up for the next thing. They set you up at night. They set you up for a good morning. And in the morning, when you're starting, all the rituals that you do, you're setting yourself up, heart, mind, body, and soul. That's what the Daily Dish is about. Getting vibrancy back into your heart, mind, body, and soul. You're setting yourself up for that, and the rest of your day. And then things start to really go. Have you noticed how that works? Hey, Carol, pinky's up to you too. Is that so good? I love using my rituals. And at any time you can change them up. At any time you can alter them. We just don't want to make them too complicated. Number 8, timers are primers for getting it all in. Have you noticed that? Now, when I use I use timers for things, to countdown clock. I also use my alarms, but your phone is such an amazing tool. Strong suggestion to start using it. This primes the pump for you getting it all in. Have you ever noticed at the end of the day, you're going, oh my gosh, there's 2 bottles of water there. You didn't get all your hydration in, but I'm going to bet you didn't set your alarms for it either, did you? Right? So this is what we do. And then a reminder, you can set reminders from, for 3 times a day to get the 4-minute workouts in. And yeah, your alarms are going off a lot, but at some point you can stop them once it starts to become second nature. But for right now, we're timing, we're getting our, we're learning new things and we're trying to get things down pat. It just makes so much difference, so much of a difference. Number 10, I guess. Is that right? 10, 11? Yeah, I think so. Take a break. We have a tendency to want to have like these perfect days, and perfect doesn't exist on this side of glory. You know that, but excellence does. And when you take a break, you're saying it's enough for me to stop right now. Because, and you've heard this before, that if you've got 4 hours of work to do, then you spend 3 hours of that sharpening your saw. In other words, the execution is one thing, but preparation is everything else. And taking that rest, taking that time to sit with it, to have a little tea time, to say, okay, I'm just going to go outside for a walk. You can also piggyback, some exercise into it, but it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better. We give ourselves a break. It's a loving thing to do. And it's a way of honoring our bodies and our time. There's a start time and an end time too. Don't let the break go on and on endlessly, getting lost in Candy Crush or, Netflix or whatever. If we do it in an honoring way like this and then start back into the other thing, we're going to have a time of really enjoying it. I always drink a cup of tea. I've got my Wise Women's tea and I'm all about that. And it's always a special time. I love plugging in I have my little hot teapot, electric one. I press the button down. And as it starts to make that noise, just even the stimulation of all of that just reminds me this is a little time that I've carved out for myself. And that is precious. So keep that in mind. And then the last thing I'm going to add, okay, and I hope this one might sound like, but you just said, you just said, don't do this, but I'm going to bonus your piggyback. And that is to use your I am mantras when you're doing a piggyback. So when you're doing your 4-minute workout, we were calling them at Full Bloom shampoo mantras, but something can trigger your I am statements, because I am statements are so incredibly powerful. And we need a moment to be able to connect with them. We need to say them out loud. We need to write them out, and we need to emote with them. And they need to connect also to our goals. And again, you're going to learn how to do all of that with your journals. As we do all of this, as we add these wonderful I am statements in there of the things that we are becoming, we're going to start to feel it in our heart of hearts. We're going to start to feel nurtured and and loved, heart, mind, body, and soul. And we're going to start to see things begin to happen because our reticular activating system is being activated at the very same time. Isn't that so cool? This is what we can do with time. This is how we learn to respect it, to cherish it, to use it wisely, and to become real gatekeepers on our time. You know, this is what wise women do. And I'm excited about this whole week. I love this topic because as you know, as I've learned and things have gotten better for me and things have gone, I've noticed that my longer term goals as I use these techniques are accomplished in a shorter period of time. Interesting, huh? It's from this. It's from this. And it's from being honoring with my time. I want you to be an honorer of your time. Are you ready to do that? If you've got some pinkies, show them. Put them up, ladies. Margaret says she's going to honor her time from now on. Amen, sister. Amen. I appreciate all of you, by the way. And thank you. Thank you so much, Lily, for your sweet comments. Peace be with you. I appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.